Hi guys, happy to see you all back through this video. So in this video we're just going to see the services that are rendered by the cloud computing. So in the previous videos we have seen about the introduction about the cloud computing and the roots of cloud computing and features of cloud computing. And if you wish you can see that. And in this video we're just going to discuss about the services that are being rendered by the cloud computing. Okay, so let us see one by one. Just wait a moment. Yeah, okay. And so from the first video I'm just telling you that so the cloud computing is delivering so and so services, right? Okay, so what are the types of services that we are having that are being provided by the cloud service provider? In the sense, first and the first one is the infrastructure as a service. And the second one is PaaS, platform as a service, and third one is SaaS, software as a service. So normally, these three set of services are being provided by the cloud computing environment. Okay, so what are those? First one is Iaas, which means that infrastructure as a service, and second one PaaS, PaaS, that is platform as a service, and third one SaaS, software as a service. Okay, so let us dig deeper into that particular type of services in a coming slide. Okay, and first we are going to see before getting into that particular types of services, so let us see what are the types of the services that are being provided under each and every type of services. And coming to the SaaS, the SaaS is provide only the application oriented, which comprises of the business. It might be a business application, or it might be a web services, or it might be a multimedia. Say for an example, as we all know, the Google apps, the Google is providing n number of apps to the cloud users to avail such type of services. Say for an example, Gmail or Google Docs and YouTube, and those things are considered as the Google apps. Okay, and coming to the next one, the Facebook is one of the leading social media platform, and YouTube as well as Salesforce.com, and these are some set of examples which comes under software as a service. Okay, and next, platform as a service. What does it mean? Platform, this is in a computing environment. What the particular word says, in the sense. Okay, in a computing environment, so when we are having an operating system, the operating system that provides a platform, operating system that provides an environment where the particular user can execute their own application, isn't it? Okay, so in a cloud computing environment, such kind of platform has been provided. Such kind of platform has been provided to the cloud users for for developing their own application, or for testing their own application, or for deploying their own application. Okay, so such kind of platform that could be provided to the cloud user as a services. Okay, and the leading service providers under the platform PaaS is, in the sense, Microsoft Azure, Google App Engine, and Amazon Simple DB S3. Okay, so these are some set of leading cloud service provider for the platform as a service. And coming to the next, the last type, IaaS, infrastructure as a service. The leading cloud service, the leading service providers are Amazon EC2, GoGrid, FlexiSale. Okay, so in this type of services, say, just look at the word infrastructure. Okay, in a computing environment, infrastructure, which means that any type of hardware resources, either it could be a CPU, or it could be a memory, or it could be a hard disk, or it could be a networking component. Okay, so any type of IT resources can be provided as a services, to the cloud users, Okay, so this is about the types of services. That are being provided by the cloud service provider. Okay, so let us see one by one in a much deeper. Okay, first we are going to see SaaS. The SaaS, which means that software as a service. Okay, and SaaS is otherwise it could be called as on-demand software, which means that whenever the particular cloud user is demanding, in that time only the particular software will be provided as a service to them. Okay, and those set of applications are hosted by a cloud service provider itself. Those set of services are provided by the cloud service provider itself. Okay, and as a cloud user, how they can access the particular application, in the sense, with the help of internet and with the help of the browser. and without without using the web browser and without having an internet connection, the particular cloud user is not in a position, he is not in a position to avail the services that are being provided by the cloud service provider. Okay, say for an example, some set of services are provided by the software, provided by a software as a service, and first one is the mail service. Obviously we all know, so the mail service is one of the services which comes under software as a service. Okay, like Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo Mail and any kind of mailing environment that are being provided as a software as a service. And coming to the next one, social networks such as the Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, and any social media platform, any social networking platform that comes under software as a service. And coming to the next one, document services like Google Docs and Zoho Forms, and those things are comes under software as a service. Okay, and coming to the last service, business services like ERP and CRM. So the ERP, which means this enterprise resource planning, the enterprise resource planning, which is used to manage the resources, or which is used to have a proper communication between the supplier and the vendor. Okay, and with this application, a proper communication could be established between the vendor and the supplier, and by the ERP, they could manage the set of resources that the particular organization is having. Okay, and coming to the next one, CRM. The CRM stands for customer relationship management. Okay, these are the various types of services that comes under which one? Yeah, software as a service. Okay, just give me a moment of time. Let me erase this. Yeah, thank you. And we will see the next one. And coming to the characteristics and coming to the features of the software as a service, and that could be managed from a central location, and all the applications hosted on a remote server. And obviously, when you are getting into the Gmail environment, and I do not know where the particular application is running, right? The Google data center is the Google has its own data center in various locations of the world for providing the services to the cloud users. Okay, so normally the applications will be hosted in a remote server, and it could be accessible only with the help of internet. Without internet, we are not in a position to avail such type of services through the to the end user. Okay, and as a cloud user, as an end user, they no need to worry about the hardware and the software updates. Because each and everything could be taken care by the cloud service provider. Each and everything will be taken care by the cloud environment. Okay, and obviously the updates will be updated automatically. You no need to update the particular thing by your own, and everything will be done automatically when the particular service is provided under the software as a service. Okay, and the final characteristic is the pay as per use basis. Okay, and these are some set of characteristics. Okay, and I would like to give you one real-time example where the software as a services can be provided. Okay, just wait a moment. Yeah, I just opened my Google spreadsheet. Okay, and this is one of the best example for software as a service. This is one part of the Google document, like Google Slide and like Google Sheets and like Google Forms, and it is one of the best example for software as a service. Okay, so even though if in my laptop I do not have a Microsoft Office, okay, even though in my laptop I do not have any set of software in order to work with the documents, if I'm having a browser, if I'm having an internet connection, then obviously with the help of Google Documents, I can still manage the work that is being related to the document. Say for an example, so this is the Google spreadsheet where I can create an Excel type of file. Okay, so just look at here. So I'm in the browser, I'm opening the particular sheet, right? So in order to execute this particular application, it might need of some underlying operating system as well as underlying hardware, right? Okay, and these two set of things could be managed by the CSP. Which means that the cloud environment will provide and the hardware and the operating system for executing this particular spreadsheet application. Okay, as a cloud user, as a client, I no need to worry about this underlying operating system and the hardware. Okay, and that thing will be take care by the particular cloud service provider. So this is the beauty of the the cloud computing, and this is the beauty of the cloud computing. Okay, fine. Okay, let us move on to the the topic. Yeah, and coming to the advantage of SaaS, and it is easy to avail, obviously, and easy to avail, and one to many. The one to many in the sense, a single instance of application is more than sufficient. A single instance of application is more than sufficient to manage n number of users. Okay, say for an example, if I'm opening a Google spreadsheet, okay, the single instance is more than enough. Okay, that particular spreadsheet, the application runs on a web server where it can provide and where it can manage n number of records, okay. There is no need to create a single each and every instance for every number of records. Okay, a single instance is more than enough to handle n number of records. That is called as one to many. And obviously less hardware required and low maintenance required, because we no need to worry about the underlying hardware and underlying operating system. Okay, and obviously it is a multi-device support. So say for an example, if I used to get into the Gmail environment, I can work with my laptop. I can access through my laptop or through my desktop, and or else I can get into my mobile application, Android mobile app. Okay, as well as I can access my Gmail account through my tablet PC. Okay, so in both the tablet PC and mobile app, either I can go with the Android operating system, or I can go with any other iOS or any other operating system. Okay, so obviously any kind of services can be availed in a multi-device support manner. Okay, and the next advantage is API integration. Obviously, so whatever the request that the particular cloud user is issuing, and everything will be processed with the help of API automatically. So once the request has been issued by the cloud user, and the request will be processed by the API, and the particular services will be delivered to the cloud user. Okay, and the final advantage is no client side installation. Obviously, we do not need any kind of installation at the client side, because so whatever the say for an example, if I'm opening a Google Sheet, I no need to install this spreadsheet in my laptop, right? Okay, so through the way through the browser and through the internet connection, I can still access the spreadsheet. Okay, I no need to install it explicitly. Okay, that is the beauty of the software as a service. That is the beauty of the cloud computing. Okay, so these are the some set of advantages when we are getting into the software as a service through the cloud computing environment. Okay, and obviously we are having some set of disadvantages, security issues. Obviously, I do not know where my data has been storing, so the security issues will be there. And obviously it is completely dependent on internet. Without internet, I am not in a position to avail any kind of services from the cloud computing environment. And latency issues, how the latency issues could be arised if my internet connectivity is very low, if the remote service not in a position to deliver the services, and then the latency issues would be arise. Okay, and the difficult for the end user to switch between SaaS vendors. Obviously, so if I am in a if I am in a Gmail, if I am in a Google environment, then I'm not in a position to transfer my data from one vendor to another vendor. This is another disadvantage of the SaaS. And these these MNCs, these international corporations are leading SaaS provider, and Salesforce.com, Google Apps, and Microsoft Office 365, NetSuite, GoToMeeting, and Cisco WebEx, and Zoom, Oracle CM, and Workday INC, NetSuite. And these are some of the leading SaaS provider in the world. Okay, I just please explore yourself into that particular about the SaaS provider. Okay, I just leaving it to you. Okay, and we will move on to the next one. Next type, PaaS. What do you mean by PaaS? In the first slide itself, I have told you that PaaS, which stands for Platform as a Service. So in a computing environment, what the word the platform denotes, it provides an environment. It provides an environment for the end user or programmer to develop and to test, run, and manage the application. Obviously, and this set of services also could be accessed only with the help of internet connection. And Like SaaS, here also the end user do not need to worry about the infrastructure, you don't need to worry about the underlying hardware that is needed for availing such services. Okay, and those set of things, those set of infrastructure could be managed by the cloud service provider. The cloud environment will take care of each and everything. They will be setting up that environment, and that will be given to you. Okay, and in that environment only you are going to develop your own application. You are going to test your own application, and as well as you can deploy your own application in it. Okay, and some set of example services provided under the PaaS, in the sense, first one is programming languages, obviously, and second one application program and database and other tools that are required to develop and test and deploy the application. And for the platform as a service, I would like to give you a real-time application where the platform as a service could be provided. Okay, and we will see that. Then we will come into the slide. Okay, and just look at here, I'm just getting into the w3schools.com, where this particular website is providing the online IDE concept. The online IDE, which means that online integrated development environment. It provides an environment where my code, where I can develop my own code, where I can test and deploy my own code. Okay, just look at here, this is a normal HTML coding. Okay, say for an example, if I'm adding some other tag, this is second. Likewise, if I have created a tab, and then I can test it, right? Okay, so obviously whatever the changes that I made it over here in the coding, and everything will be reflected, and I can test how this particular code could works. Okay, so this this particular this platform, it provides an environment where I can execute my code. Okay, so here I am executing the HTML code, right? So if I wish to execute a Python code, then I have to get into the Python environment that is being provided by the particular W3 school, isn't it? Okay, so in a single environment, the same environment, I am not in a position to execute different set of application. If I wish to run an application, that particular environment has to be created. Right? So this is an HTML environment where I can execute my HTML code. If I wish to go for Python environment, I have to get into that particular environment where where I can develop my own code. Fine, I'm just going to type I'm fine, I'm just going to execute this particular thing. Okay, so just look at here, the particular code is being compiled over here, and now we will get the output. Yeah, for the first print statement I will get the hello world, and for the second print statement I will get the hi, and for the third print statement I'm getting I'm fine. So this is how the platform will be provided by the that will be provided by the cloud environment where we can execute our own application. Okay, this is one of the best example for the PaaS, platform as a service. Okay, so let us move into the slide. Okay, and coming to the characteristics and advantages, obviously, so a single application is more than enough to handle n number of users. Okay, and obviously, so web services, obviously with the help of internet only, we are in a position to access such type of resources from the cloud environment. Okay, so obviously the scale up and scale down of resources could be achieved in the under PaaS, and it also support multiple programming languages and framework. Okay, just look at I have just explained before, under w3schools.com website, it provides an HTML environment, as well as it provides a Python environment, and also provides JavaScript environment, any kind of language platform. Okay, so if the CSP is in a position to provide any kind of a programming language framework environment, and by the way, and the user can execute their own application in such type of different multiple programming languages, as well as in a different set of frameworks. Okay, and it depends on the particular cloud service provider. Okay, say for an example, some cloud some set of cloud service providers are not in a position to deliver all type of programming languages. Okay, and it based on their resources that the particular cloud environment is having, and based on the resources that they are having, they are in a position to deliver such type of services to the cloud users. And coming to the advantages, as I have earlier said, the cloud user is no need to worry about the underlying hardware and also the underlying operating system where I'm gonna deploy my own application. Okay, as another advantages is that online community forum would be there. Okay, by which I can share my own ideas, as well as I can seek the advices from the other for deploy my application, or for develop and test and deploy my own application. Okay, And another important beauty is scalability. Obviously, the scale up and scale down could be done under the PaaS environment also. Okay, so like a disadvantages, there will be have some disadvantages. Let us see that too. Vendor lock-in, obviously, say for an example, what is the meaning of vendor lock-in in the sense? Say for an example, if I develop the code under Amazon environment, in the sense I have deployment application Amazon environment. So if I wish to move on to Microsoft Azure environment, Microsoft Azure environment, okay, in the sense, then the particular cloud user, say for an example, he is not in a position to move his application from one end to another end. Okay, that is one of the disadvantages in a cloud environment. The vendor lock-in is the main disadvantages. Okay, and also data privacy. Obviously, I'm not aware about where my data is residing, where my application is residing, because I'm just gonna see everything virtually only. I do not aware where the physical appearance of the data, where the physical location of the data. Okay, that is one of the important disadvantages in cloud environment. So even though security messages are given to my data, I'm not in a position to know about where my data is residing and how the securities are being given to the particular data. Okay, and coming to the leading PaaS providers and GAE, Google App Engine, and they are the leaders of the PaaS provider, and then Salesforce.com, Windows Azure, AppFog, OpenShift, and Cloud Foundry. Okay, so these are some set of the leading PaaS provider where we can get the services as a platform. Okay, and hopefully I have given a proper example for software as a service as well as for a platform as a service. And now we will move on to the next type of services, that is IaaS. So the IaaS, which means as infrastructure as a service, okay, that is called as IaaS, and it also otherwise called as hardware as a service, HAAS. Okay, IaaS could be otherwise called as HAS, hardware as a service. Okay, here any type of IT resource, that could be that could be a computing environment, or it could be a server, or it could be networking, or it could be storage, or it could be a virtual machine. Any kind of IT resources could be delivered to the cloud users. Okay, and example services provided by it is normally the computing resources, the storage, network, and load balancers. These are some set of example services provided by the infrastructure as a service. Okay, and coming to the characteristics, obviously the resources are available service, and services are highly scalable. Obviously, in a first video I have given a clear example how the IaaS could be provided. Say for an example, if I am deploying a server, if I am deploying my website, okay, if I am deploying a website abc.com in a server, okay, in a one single server that are being in a cloud, okay. So whenever the peak time has come, whenever I'm predicting my peak time, so I can scale up my web server, I mean 1 number of server to 4 number of servers. Okay, and during the peak time, and the 4 number of servers will be inactive, and after the peak time gets over, I can remove that particular additional web server, and finally this abc.com will be run only web server. So the scalability is highly possible in an infra IaaS. Okay, and GUI and API based access, obviously. So whatever the services that are provided by the cloud computing, that could be availed only with the help of graphical user interface, I mean through the browser, as well as our request will be processed, and the services will be provided through the API control only, application program interface control only. Okay, and the important characteristics, automated administrative characteristics. Okay, so here I have increased, I have scaled up my server right from the 1 web server to 4 number of web server, right, and as well as after the peak time has over, I am reducing the server 4 number of servers to the 1 number of servers. Okay, so here, so each and this type of action, this type of functionalities could be done in an automated way. Okay, we no need to do such kind of actions manually, and okay, and just calling a respective API function, and this thing could be done. Okay, and coming to the advantages of IaaS, it's a SaaS infrastructure, obviously. Okay, so when the resources are putting up it in a cloud, okay, and those set of resources will be shared among the n number of users. Those set of resources will be shared among the n number of users. This is the beauty of the cloud computing environment. Okay, so we do not have any dedicated hardware. as a cloud, as a cloud user, we do not have any kind of dedicated hardware, okay, and every hardware that are residing in a particular cloud environment, every hardware resource that are residing in a cloud environment, everything will be accessed, everything will be shared by the n number of users, okay. That is the beauty of the cloud computing. And like other model, it is also a pay as per use model. Obviously all the services that are provided by the computing, everything will be comes under this one, pay as per you, as well as on demand, okay. Whenever the user is demanding, then only the services will be given back to the user A, okay. So likewise, so this is the advantages of the infrastructure as a service. This is the advantage of the infrastructure as a service, okay. And coming to the next one, disadvantages, obviously the security issues would be there, like the PaaS and SaaS, and it completely depends on the internet availability, okay. Suppose at the at the receiver end, say for an example, A is a the cloud service provider, okay, and B is an user. In the sense, suppose if the internet connectivity is down at the receiver end, then he is not in a position to avail the services from the cloud service provider. He is not in a position to avail the services from the cloud service provider, okay. As like SaaS and PaaS, and this Iaas also completely based on internet availability, okay. And obviously vendor lock-in issues are always there. Vendor lock-in in the sense, so I am not in a position to move from one vendor to another vendor. And as like PaaS, here in Iaas also the vendor lock-in issues will be there. And these are the the leading Iaas provider. Amazon rules the world. NetMagic Solution, Rackspace, Reliance Communications, Sippy Technologies, and Tata Communications. These are the leading service providers. These are the leading Iaas providers. Okay. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Now we are at the end of the slide, and now we are at the end of the video. Here I am going to explain on an important concept for any kind of services. For any kind of services like SaaS or PaaS or Iaas, it has some stack of operation, it has some stack of components, or it has some stack of services involved in it, okay. So let us say one by one. So for availing a SaaS, so these are the set of components, okay, right from the networking and storage, servers, virtualization, OS, middleware, runtime, data, application, and each and everything will be managed by the vendor. Each and everything will be managed by the cloud service provider. Obviously, I have given an example, right? Gmail. Right? So this is for accessing the Gmail, right from the networking to the application. Everything will be managed by the vendor. Okay. So as a cloud user, if he wishes to get into the Gmail environment, he is in need of only the browser and the internet connection, okay, and each and everything right from the application to the networking, everything will be managed by the vendor, okay. And coming to the next one, PaaS, platform as a service. Here just listen carefully. The application and the data, will be managed by the cloud user, and rest of the thing from the runtime to the networking, and everything will be managed by the vendor. From the networking to the runtime, everything will be managed by the vendor, because under a PaaS, under a platform as a service, we are going to develop our own application, right? We are not going to use the already existing application. We are going to develop our own application, okay. So that's why the application and the data that are related to the particular application has to be managed by the particular user only, okay. So these things could not be managed by the vendor, okay. So if it could be done by the vendor, then it is not at all be a PaaS, okay. So for a PaaS, it provides an environment where we are going to develop our own application, where we are going to test our own application, where we are going to deploy our own application, okay. So these two things should be managed by the user, and rest of the thing from the from the runtime to the networking, everything will be managed by the vendor, okay. And coming to the the third type, IaaS, here, so I stands for infrastructure, right? So only these levels, right from the virtualization of the networking, will be managed by the vendor, and rest of the thing from the environment, and the middleware, runtime, the data and application, everything should be managed by the user, okay. And this is one of the important thing that you have to consider, that you have to know about how the services could be delivered and what are the components that could be managed by the vendor and that could be managed by the by the user. Okay, and before I'm closing my video, I just going to give you an important or a simple example for IaaS. Okay, just wait for a while. Yeah, here I'm just getting into my the Google Drive. Okay, I'm just going to get into my Google Drive. Just look at here I'm having a 15 GB. When we are getting into the Gmail environment, when we are signing up into the Gmail environment, so normally the 15 GB will be allocated as a free. Okay, if I go beyond the 15 GB, then I have to purchase the particular storage space. Okay, and here one of the beauty of the cloud computing is so when we are when I'm getting into the Gmail account, when I'm initially creating a Gmail account, 15 GB will be allocated, right? Okay, so this 15 GB will not be allocated in a single stretch. This 15 GB will not be allocated single stretch. Okay, so up to 15 GB, right from the 0 bytes to 15 GB I can store, right? So the maximum free limit is 15 GB. So whenever I am storing the data, the particular Google API will calculate, how much amount of storage that I need to store the particular data. Say for an example, if I am going to store the 1 GB of content of file in the sense, then initially the 1 GB will be allocated, and rest of the 14 GB will be allocated in a virtual manner only. So whenever I am adding up the content, subsequently the storage will be allocated to me. So the maximum free limit is 15 GB. So okay, so once if I am go beyond the 15 GB, then I will get an automated alert from the particular Google API. Then I'm in a position, then I have to purchase the particular the storage things. Okay, then I have to purchase the particular storage in order to store and retrieve my data. Okay, and this is one of the perfect example for IaaS. Okay, fine. Hopefully I have given a proper example for each and everything, and right from the SaaS to the PaaS and to the IaaS and each and everything, I have given a clear example. Hopefully, I believe that. Sorry. And if you wish, you can ping or follow me through any one of the social media platform. And if you wish, and if you like this video, kindly please like my video and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you guys. We will see you on the next video. Thank you once again.